Am I the asshole for not letting my sister-in-law wear my wedding dress to prom? I 25F got married to my husband 24M a year ago. He has a sister 16F. I went a little non-traditional with my dress. I got a big light yellow dress and a beautiful strappy top with lace. The dress was gorgeous and of course very expensive. This was definitely my dream dress. His family isn't particularly well off, but they're certainly not poorer or lower income. So when they told me at a family dinner that they were having trouble finding an affordable dress for her, I was a little surprised, but gave suggestions like looking at eBay, Goodwill's website. In my younger days I did pageants and we always resold the dress after at a good discount. They told me they looked but didn't find anything they like. I told them I hoped the dress would come up soon. 2 weeks passed and we get invited to dinner again at their house. We show up and immediately his sister starts moping. I assume she had a bad day at school and sit down to eat. Then my Mill explained to me she was upset because prom was in 3 days and she still had no dress. I expressed my condolences and told her that I could maybe help her have some last looks around. That's when Mill said, "Oh, I have an idea. My name. Why don't you let Sil wear your yellow dress? I could probably get it tailored in time." My Sil immediately perked up and I felt like I was ambushed. I looked to my husband but he just shrugged. I politely told them I was sorry, but the dress was very special to me. And also Sil and I are quite different sizes. It would fall off her. Mill then told me she knows a wonderful seamstress who could make it fit, which really upset me. I asked her what if I ever want to try it on again. It wouldn't fit me. Even if I lost weight, my bust would never fit in a dress tailored to fit her. Sil ended up busting into tears. I'm not sure if it was because of me saying no or me talking about our bodies. My husband and I ended up leaving early. He was very upset with me for not sharing the dress, but said ultimately it was my decision. His family, on the other hand, was livid with me. They went radio silent until I saw a post of Sil on Facebook in a beautiful blue dress. I commented saying I'm glad she got a dress. She looked great, and I hope she had a good time, and I got a comment back asking me for my portion of the dress. They have now told my husband I am responsible for either reselling the dress and getting them half back since I have experience with that, or help pay for half. I told them that was ridiculous, but my husband told me to just do it. I told him I'm not going to be pushed over, and he ended up leaving for 3 days to his mom's. Now I am no longer invited to family dinners or functions, and they only have nasty things to say about me, saying I almost ruined her prom night. Am I the asshole? Should I have just let her wear the dress, or at the very least help them sell it? At this point, since my husband isn't even on my side, I don't know. Tried to talk to Mill after getting some confidence from these comments. Basically, she brushed it all off, still demanded I do what she told me to either sell it or help pay for it because I'm family. And that's what family does, but also said she would have looked much better in it than I did, and that I just didn't let her have the dress out of jealousy. I am honestly speechless right now.
My husband has a second family. The ultimate cliche has happened in my life and I'm absolutely broken. My husband, my rock, has been having an affair for over 17 years. We've been married for over 25 years. We have 3 beautiful children, 2 in college and 1 who still lives at home. But turns out he's had another set this whole time. My husband is an insurance broker and he has multiple branches over the country, which he spends week on, week off. Turns out on his week off, he's been with his other family in Albuquerque, where his other branch is. He's got a fiance whom he has 2 kids with, both in their early teens. I found out when I went to make a new Facebook account, and when I searched my husband's first name, another profile with another last name popped up, and through that profile were the links to his fiance and his other kids' Facebook. My husband is currently with said family, and I know it's him because his most recent post is a photo of him and that other family eating dinner. Among those photos were photos of him kissing the girl and him being fatherly with the kids who look nearly identical to my husband. I am already broken. Almost every part of me wants to scream in his face and reprimand him for ruining my life, but another part of me wants to pretend to be ignorant and let it be. because our life is peaceful. He's good with our kids. He's the main source of financial income. He's loving, but he's also all those things to another family. Not only would I be tearing a gaping hole in my family, I'd be opening a vortex for them too. My heart is in shambles. I've never cried so much in my life. My youngest son is currently on a graduation trip with friends, and I'm alone till my lying, cheating, bastard husband comes home. My life is absolutely wrecked. It's literally a movie plot. I'm hoping he'll just come home and it'll be a big misunderstanding why he's kissing a woman with a ring on her finger. I don't know what to do anymore. I'm tempted to pack a bag and just leave. I can't be in the home where we've raised our kids, where we've spent every Christmas for the last 26 years, and where I've been alone on New Year's, taking care of our babies, while he works his ass off. I just can't. I want to leave a note for him to come home to, hurt him like he's hurt me, but I don't think that's possible. I don't know how I'll ever face him again.
One day, when I was about 8 years old, my sister and I discovered a hidden drawer full of women's clothes in my dad's closet. We played dress up with them, not realizing that they had once belonged to the now dead victims of my serial killer dad. My father wasn't physically abusive or anything, but I always kinda knew something was off about him. I once tried to explain it to a school counselor, telling him that sometimes my dad would get so angry that he'd tell us, "You two drive me nuts. I need to blow off some steam or I'll end up doing something to you that I might regret." Then he'd run out of the house and disappear for a few days, only to come back calm and content. But this one time, Dad took me swimming at a lake and I got tired, so I reached for a life float. And Dad just pushed it away from me. I would swim some more and started getting really tired, but Dad kept pushing the float away until I started crying out of exhaustion. The counselor said Dad was just teasing me, but today I know that it was Dad's dark side. I saw it frequently, like when I came home late from a movie and my dog Princess had disappeared. I asked where she was, and Dad simply responded, "She wouldn't shut up, so I made her shut up." And where is she now? Gone. You won't see her again. I couldn't believe he had done that, and cried myself to sleep that night. The next morning, I found Princess's collar on my nightstand, and it was snapped in two. To this day, I don't want to think about what happened. I used to think he was just mean, but one time he was driving me to school. He beeped at a bunch of college girls who were only like 21 years old. I was so disgusted when he rolled down the window and shouted, "Hey, cuties!" Afterward, he kept telling me for weeks how pretty that one girl was he'd seen. It was as if he couldn't get her out of his mind. One part of me hated him, especially because he constantly made us move states. When I'd ask him why, he'd get angry and scream that kids weren't allowed to question their parents' decisions. One time he got drunk, though, and told me that we had to move away in secret because there were people searching for us. But don't get me wrong, I loved my dad over everything. He often asked me how my day in school was, and when I told him that one of my classmates had called me fat, he followed that boy on his way home from school, pulled him into a forest, and threatened him quite explicitly. I know that because the boy told his parents about it, who then called the police. But all that's harmless compared to my dad's little hobby. We lived near a lake when I was around 13, and there was a bridge in the neighborhood which I hated. Dad started speeding every time we came close to it, as if he wanted to get over it as fast as he could. As if there was something hiding under the bridge that he wanted to get away from. Well, one night my dad got really drunk again and asked me if I would leave him if I found out he was a serial killer. I responded, "I don't know, Dad. Maybe." "Well, I am one, and now you know." "No, you were just drunk. Go to bed." What happened next was horrible. He told me in way too much detail how he had done it again and again, and I just listened in shock. Looking back, I can see that he was trying to recruit me as his helper. I think he wanted some strange father-daughter serial killer relationship, but I didn't get it. Instead, I went into full denial and screamed, "Shut up, Dad! Your stupid made-up stories aren't funny!" And then I ran out of the room. That was a mistake, though. Had I informed the police about my dad's hobby, I could have saved the lives of a few women that went missing over the next few months. Like, one time it was all over the news that some college girl had gone missing. Normally, Dad would spend his Friday evening watching TV and drinking beers, but this night, he had locked himself into our shed. I was curious and waited all night for him to come out, and when he finally did, he was all dirty and covered in dirt. Had he dug a hole in there and hid a body? I guess I didn't want to know the truth and told myself it was all a coincidence. But looking back, I realized that I was just scared. I was 14 and didn't know what would happen if my dad was put into prison. Would I be sent to an orphanage? And how would the other kids treat me if they found out about my dad's crimes? I I was petrified, and Dad kept trying to recruit me. For my 16th birthday, he gifted me a driver's license. I thought it was an act of kindness. Then he made me drive to a small lodge in a forest. He loaded something into the trunk and came back to the front of the car and said, "If a police officer stops you, never forget to smile and tell him that you just got your license. Then they'll never search your trunk." Anyway, just a couple months later, I came home from school and there were police officers in every room of the house. Oh, deep down I instantly knew what was going on. But hearing out loud that my father was accused of murder still shook me to the bones. I felt like I was the guilty one. It was like I had taken those innocent lives. And even though I didn't go to prison, my life still went downhill. Especially school wasn't the same. No one would speak to me because of what my dad had done. I think the parents of students forbid them to talk to me in case I was like my father, which was ridiculous, of course. By the way, I have visited my dad a few times in prison. It's weird, but he just asked me how my life was, and then we had a normal conversation. When I asked him why he did what he had done, he said, "Why not?" and changed the topic again. To be honest, to me, he still feels just like my dad. I was also seeing a therapist for a while, but I don't think I got any serious mental health issues. My only fear is that if I ever have a son, that he might inherit some serial killer gene from my dad and will turn out just like him. But that's out of my control anyway. Let me know if you blame me for some of the murders my dad committed or not.